How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Doing
Thanks for
well.
coming on.
No, no, no. How about Mike? Okay. In terms of our clientele, you mean?
Yeah. So you you bought the dealership, or how long ago did you get the dealership?
I'm the operating partner. Joe Sarah is my partner out, and he's the silent partner out in Detroit. I've been the operating partner here since 2020.
Okay.
I'm in the business 42 years though.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start at the beginning. We'll start at the beginning of Gold Coast, and then
Sure.
we'll go from there. So
Yeah, we don't have
the floor is yours.
today. So you want me to start in?
Yeah. So we'll cut stuff out that we don't want to use and stuff.
Sure.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So I during COVID, I had a friend of mine who had my brother and I had sold the art organization. We owned several dealerships up in New York State, and we sold them. And a friend of mine asked me to run his company while he went in for a serious cardiovascular surgery, and I did so for about a year. But when he went under the knife, he actually passed away.
Whoa.
He had his aorta had an aneurysm. That's the word I was looking for. Anyway, during the surgery, the aneurysm burst. He had a stroke. He lasted for a short period of time, but he passed away.
Jeez.
His son, who really was not interested in running the business, asked me to, stay on for a while. I stayed on for about a year. Then his son was going to sell the business, and ultimately, and I really didn't need to work at the time. I'm not being, when I say that, I just didn't need to at the moment.
Right.
And my partner and one of his executives reached out to me via LinkedIn and said, "Hey, listen, we have a store down in Jersey. It's a decent volume store in a great location. Would you consider meeting us down there and just talking about the what ifs?" So I did, and the long story short, he said, "I'm going to make you a deal that would make sense, a no brainer," and he did in fact do that. So when I walked in the door at Gold Coast Cadillac,
It's a good name, by the way, too. It's a great name.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
We're on the Gold Coast of Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So it's easily identifiable, but as far as the region is concerned, very easily identified. But on top of everything else, the store wasn't necessarily getting it wasn't getting a big return on its investment, a very small one, and was selling lots of cars. But there were some inherent, process and let's say business structural issues that needed to be resolved. So my background, because I was kind of thrust into it in the public side of the business for about 20 years, it became kind of I became a student of how to restructure the business to get some efficiencies and profitability and so on. And we've been able to do that very effectively. We've been a dealer of the year 4 times for Cadillac since I've been here. Very proud of what the people accomplish here. We've been Carfax Dealer of the Year, JD Power Dealer of Excellence Award winner every year we've been here. We do a nice job, and we do so by treating every customer like they're our grandmother, essentially, if I had to put it in a nutshell. That's really what it comes down to. So but as far as our day-to-day operations now, it's an odd time because EV became a thing. Then it became the thing with Cadillac to go all in. A lot of the other manufacturers pivoted back about a year ago. General Motors, specifically Cadillac, did not. They kind of doubled down, so they were going to continue to go all EV. So we're in that transition period now for the next year or so, where Cadillac tries to make its way back to some of the gas models that they terminated.
Yeah, they went. They you see a lot of electric Cadillacs out there, so they're gonna discontinue those and go back to gas. Or
they're going to try to be a little bit more sensitive to the market and the customer demands and meet the customers where they are, because the legislation made it appear as if it was going to be all electric, right, for a while, but then
100% by 2050 or whatever it was, some crazy.
And it doesn't matter what legislation says that people can spend their money the way they want to still in America,
Right.
right? So
Right. You
five,
can't make them.
no. 5 or 6% of the market buys EVs. EVs are like a brown suit, right? If you have 10 suits in your closet, you round out your suit collection with a brown suit.
No, that's a good analogy. You're right, because it fits a certain type of person that
Right.
wants the electric car. You're not going to convince, like you said, most of them are going to be like, oh, I'll convert to all electric. No, no, no problem. Hybrid. I was always thinking hybrid was the way to go. It seemed like they jumped from like gas right to all electric instead of skip the hybrid things. I think the hybrid will be a bigger market. What do you think?
Well, Toyota's a good example of why hybrid makes sense. I mean, they're gobbling up market share because, and not just the hybrid. It's it's like again, the suit analogy. If you have a plaid suit, a blue suit, a gray suit, a brown suit, there's certain staples that right? People are going to buy blue suits. They're going to buy pinstripe. They're going to buy the brown suit. Will be the last thing that they buy, but they will buy it if they have all the other ones, right?
Right, right.
EV is the same thing. Most EV buyers, especially from middle and up in the demographic, the EV that they own is the second or third car that they own.
Really? So
Yeah.
it's not the main one. Oh, so it's like getting like the sports car for the weekends.
That, or you put it at your shore house, or and you have the other car at the other house. You leave it plugged in, or it's the car your wife drives during the day from point to point, and the that's really kind of what it's evolved to.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
I mean, there's probably some Tesla owners that operate it a little bit differently, but reality in the luxury EV segment is that generally speaking isn't the only car that they have.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, which in the EV segment, even gas engines, they have more than one car, generally speaking.
Oh, yeah, that's
So,
true. Right, it's true. Right.
but the thing is, there's some inherent challenges still with the structure of, the infrastructure of the charging stations, and you know, what, uh, what attachment matches what car. There's still some of that going on. But I think the big thing is really, look, the EV vehicle next to whatever its closest competitor is in a gas
Mhm.
engine, it'd be more money. That's
Of
still the
course. Right. But the
uh,
idea is, are they supposed to have less maintenance over the time, or is that supposed to even out somehow, or is that
you
what
have
they're big?
well, you have different maintenance. You have less incidents of maintenance, but if you have a repair, it tends to be more expensive because it's electrical.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
as far as we know now, that maybe you may instead of getting two doubles, you got a home run. It's right now it's kind of a wash in terms of raw dollars. So that still has yet to wash out a little bit. The issues that the cars do have, generally speaking, are computer electrical issues,
Hmm.
and they don't have a lot of them. But when they have one, it's significant.
It's big money.
Yeah, it's big money and it's big time. That's
Okay,
the
that's worse, right? Because
yeah,
sometimes, right,
yeah. People that make a lot of money, they want to be where they need to be and do what they have to do.
right,
But and so does everybody.
yeah, yeah,
But in the nutshell, what's hurt a little bit, the tax credit that was out there for 2, 3, or 4 years, whatever it was.
gone.
Yeah, it's gone, but that hurt in more ways than one, because that all of the or most of the manufacturers use that $7,500 tax credit to enhance the residual value of the car. Instead of bringing the cost of the car down, they brought the residual value up. And what that
Oh,
did, now all of these cars coming back from the auction, it was in automotive this week that manufacturers are going to lose billions, they believe $50 billion. But all these electric cars coming off a lease back from the auction, they're going to lose a fortune, which
wow.
probably will be the case.
So you guys
And
buy the auction too, right? Because you buy used cars from the
we
like
do
from the
buy cars.
auctions.
We do more online auctions, but we try to trade smart, and trade as many as we can. I'd rather spend $400 or $500 more on a trade than have to go to the auction and buy a question mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and plus when you go to the auction, you're bidding against 30 other people. When you're trading for a vehicle, it's an agreement between you and the customer. So it tends to be, but you tend to have a more, and also the customer gets a tax credit by trading the car in. So it kind of softens the trade value a little bit from a demand perspective.
I see.
There's a
I
lot
got it.
why it makes more sense, but I think the biggest thing is that, you know, we could take all of what we just said and throw it out the window. If only 5% of the market it goes out with the intent to buy an EV,
Uh,
you know, so we went from marketing 100% of the vehicles that we sold and marketing to 100% of the industry, and now we market 40% of the cars we sell to 100%, 60% of the cars we sell to 5% of the industry.
oh, that's not good. Yeah,
But those are the numbers, and
yeah.
so now this is why Cadillac is
Going
also,
back or
they're not,
refocusing.
but they're gonna bring back a couple of the models refreshed that
Yeah.
they stopped production on. But it takes time. It could take a
Yeah,
year.
you can't. It's not overnight. You can't do it. Yeah.
No, because you gotta have that plant with the tooling to
Right, right.
build.
So as far as your position goes, what kind of like daily hiccups or issues or monkey wrenches that you wind up with in your daily?
Well, I'm involved in I'm a very hands-on guy. Regardless, I've been the regional vice president for 3 public companies over 20 years, and I've had as many as 40 stores over 8 states and 5,000 employees.
Oh wow.
Here I have 70 employees, but regardless, in both, um, I keep my hands. I'm a very hands-on guy. Not to choke out my employees, but I like to know what's going on in my business, and I like to be accessible to my customers as well as my employees. So I'm
Sense.
in a dealership 5 days a week.
Right.
I'm not a time guy.
Phone it in. You're there.
I think a lot of guys in my position spent a lot of years trying to get to this position because they could do that.
Mhm.
You'll
Right,
hear
right.
if you go into a lot of dealerships, the operator is rarely there, or
Rarely. Right.
if things are going good, he doesn't see a reason to be there. If the beans accounted properly, there's a return on investment, there's no personnel issues. Well, I don't want to breathe over everybody's shoulder, but I don't see it that way. I'll do training. I'll do some of the training sessions with people. I'll get involved with customers. I'll sell a car. I'll move a car.
That's
When it's
good. That's good idea. That's good. That's awesome. To kind of keep fresh, right? Kind of.
100%, I do all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
digital marketing and advertising for my company.
So
Um,
what's your big marketing uh like what do you use? Billboards, digital marketing, online,
well,
drive.
everything I do. I'm on a billboard outside the Lincoln Tunnel with Joe Piscopo, who's a friend,
Yeah.
and it's a rotating digital billboard, that big one when you go into the Lincoln Tunnel from the
Uh-huh.
Jersey. You first go down the ramp to go around the circle. There's that 100-foot long and 50-foot deep billboard that's up there. It's a digital billboard, and I'm on that
They,
billboard.
they let you do that though? I thought you had like a certain like territory where you can only put like advertise for Cadillac.
Well, I did get approval from. Well, here's the thing: the dealer that's over there, Trinity, is out of business. That's
Oh.
to that area. And secondly, um, we sponsored Tunnel to Tower. We're a sponsor of Tunnel to Towers. And we do a lot of events here for them.
Oh, okay.
Joe's a spokesperson for Tunnel to Towers. So, it just happened to be one of those days where if you're wearing the right jersey, they allowed you on the field, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a wiggle into that position, but we haven't gotten any flack on it, and we're supporting Cadillac in a big way.
Right. So they let you slide on the whole territory thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't a dealer that's right there. It's a good distance to the next closest dealer, and we're as close as anybody else to Lincoln Tunnel, I guess, in terms of our PMA. So,
So the Trinity one was there, right? Trinity was up in North Jersey.
well, they were in Inglewood, but they went out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was I asking you? So what do you find that marketing works the best? What is it? Is it like digital marketing? People go to the website,
Well, look,
mail, regular mail?
organic search and organically contacts are your best, because those are people that intend to look for you, right?
Right.
They look not just for the cars you sell, but to your website. So those are your best because they have the highest level. They're the low funnel customers that have the highest level of intent. But what I try to do is everything I do, whether it's radio, TV, digital, billboards, doesn't matter what it is.
Mhm.
I want it to backlink to my website.
Makes
Everything,
sense.
even on business cards, doesn't matter what we have. Thank you letters. I have a thank you letter we give to every customer. It's got a QR code. We make the customer actually hit that QR code with their cell phone when they buy the car to schedule their first service from the day they buy the car.
That's good. Yeah.
but they're in our website at that point.
So
And
in the database, as soon as they do that, they're in the database, so that
and the
they're
plus
in.
it gets them in the automated service reminder program right away. And it also it triggers a thank you text message with a click to call that goes to them half an hour after they leave the dealership. And it also triggers, what it does is those visits to our site all count in terms of SEO weight. So it improves our weight on search engine optimization. And the more you're in the more areas you are and that people get directed back to your website, that those contacts, if you're in enough places, neither Google nor anybody can create an algorithm that can kind of block your presence for search engine optimization. If you only have a couple of pokers in the fire, it's very easy for them to create an algorithm that lowers your relevancy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we try to make sure we're coming from every angle. It almost doesn't matter how they change the algorithm unless they intend to block me.
I see.
Which they can't. So
Right.
I use everything. Everything we do has our QR code, our URL. I announce it online. I do. You may not have seen it, but I do grassroots videos from my car in the morning.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, if you go to look me up on LinkedIn, William Camastro on LinkedIn, you'll see I do motivational. I'm in the car at 5:30, 6 o'clock, so I use the time for about an hour, hour and a half to. I put motivational videos, how to be good each day versus just the end of the
Oh,
month.
that's great.
But the good news about
Where do you post that? That goes where?
I post them every.
Your own channel or your own?
No, I just post them on my LinkedIn. I got a big following now because I've been doing it for a long time.
Oh, so your personal page. You post it right on there. Just you.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I also I have a lot of followers that are industry people that shoot it out to other people. But more importantly, I use Gold Coast Cadillac's Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram sites to post videos from me as well, so that I'm branding my face with the business. And then when people see me on TV or on social media, that represents Gold Coast to them.
I see. Even though it's not Gold Coast related, you're just doing motivational stuff, but you post it on their pages, so they kind of see you and they kind of loop it all together. Your personal one with the Gold Coast.
100%. And I do the grassroots stuff because the everyday, the average Joe. I mean, I'm an average Joe that made kind of made my way a little bit, but the average guy getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning sees that, they're gonna listen because
it's motivational. Yeah.
Well, this guy puts his pants on the same way I do every day. I grew up in the Bronx without any money. It's all about the work, right? It's all about an investment of our time, organizational skills, developing those skills. And like Lawrence Taylor said, it's not a matter of how many times you get knocked down. It's a matter of making sure you get up every time.
That's right.
But I'm trying to instill that in people. I don't get paid for it,
right?
But it goes. The message just needs to be relevant and capture people's interest for it to captivate and be spread to the point where it enhances your social media search engine optimization. And my philosophy there is, hey, if I'm delivering a genuine message that's relatable and it's a good message that helps other people, and that helps my search engine optimization at the same time, that's plus. That's all. That's good stuff.
Makes sense.
That's why I do it.
If you could automate anything in that, would it be any way you'd like to automate where you wouldn't have to do so much any manual stuff daily of anything that you do?
I trust Siri or AI to post it for me.
Right.
I would do it if I had that trust factor. If I had that trust factor, I would do that.
What about the marketing stuff? Would you automate the marketing anyway, or is it?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about. It's funny you asked that question. I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
But we spend so much time manually with the analytics are automated, obviously through Google Analytics, and we spend looking at that, making observations, and making determinations. I would love to have an AI portal that gives me the top, let's say, 8 or 10 different marketing and advertising thrusts with some sort of kind of a short tutorial explaining to me why. But look at that, listen to that after I make my own judgments on my analytics and make my own judgments on what I think the market's going to do, and based on our results, and then kind of formulate that in my head, and then go into the AI portal and say, listen, in the month of May, where should I be and why? and give me the top 10 locations and reasons, and have it tell me, well, based on your success, this is how many cars you sold this year. And if they compile all the data, how many cars you sold, who you sold them to, the demographics, the economy as it is, the interest, take all the data points that I might not be thinking of in my decision making, and have it make a suggestion to me. I would
Oh,
go.
that could be done. Yeah, but I can actually probably help you with that. That could be done.
Oh, I know it. I know it can be done. It isn't like I have AI software Numa in my shop. I was on the development team.
So
I
you
was not,
so that is from Cadillac. Is that
no,
you?
that's a separate. That's a private company.
You helped design that the way you wanted it.
Yeah. Well, I helped develop it, and I've been with them since day one. I actually I was dealer number one. There's 1,400 dealers with it now in the
What's
country.
it called?
Numa,
Uma?
NMA.com.
Oh,
Look it up. It's very interesting.
Numa. You said N has what is it?
NUMA.com. Numa.com.
UMA.
N Nancy, U as in us, M as in Mary, A as in Apple.
Oh, Numa. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
So they do their it's like your CRM for the dealership.
No, it's actually it's interactive AI with a live voice command text communication that has intuitive logic that can actually answer your questions, and it's 24/7. It schedules appointments, loan a cars, makes suggestions to the consumer, and it accesses our DMS, so it knows the customer's history. It also gives a transcription to, it's IP specific, so they want to talk to a certain person, they can talk directly to that person real time.
Huh.
And even if you're not in the dealership or it's 2 o'clock in the morning, that transcription comes across your phone. So if I'm stuck on the side of the highway, I can call in and hey, it's Bill, come out. The voice command text. You only have to opt in once, and once you get used to it, you don't mind calling here any time of the night or day. But we capture many more customers by putting out a bigger net with more, with more threads. And
So in that portal, so that's different than the service stuff, right? The service is a different portal altogether.
Service is it is in service.
So it's in the whole thing. So it's service department, sales department.
Sales is not involved yet. We haven't.
Oh, not so there's only service for the customers getting their cars fixed.
Yep. We're going to soon. The new initiative is to have it rolled into sales, and so it would serve up be based on the call in from the outside, instead of the customer going through that whole press one for this, press two for that, the cyber button, button Beethoven, is to get them into a very fast into an AI portal where they can ask specific questions, that the AI can access our inventory, serve up VDPs, calculate generalized payments on lease and buy, serve them up to the customer on that call, and also have a salesperson's IP assigned that conversation and the transcription and the VDPs that went out. It'll ping their phone. They open up their phone. They can see exactly what the customer's talking to our AI portal about. And then it can then jump into the conversation and take the conversation from where it is, to not have to go back to the beginning.
So it has the chat option. So it's chatting with them. And then once it gets too complicated, it probably just like cuts it off and brings it to you guys so you can take it on if you can't answer it.
Numa allows you to do is you can see the conversation from the minute it starts.
So you can take over like seamlessly, like in the middle. Like if you don't like if you don't like the responses, like I can answer better than that. You can be like, okay,
it's
hop in there.
Transcribing real time.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, other than that, what metrics are you focusing on right now in the business? What are your?
Interesting question. So, my most important metric, obviously. Listen, top down or bottom up, ROI is always the most important metric, right? Right. Both of us are on this call seeking ROI. This week, both. Okay.
Right.
The question is, how do we get to that with the compression of gross profit that's gone on of late? How do we get to that with 3 less gas models to sell? And what are our opportunities? Well, we can improve margin a little bit, sell more used cars, obviously. We're doing that. Mm-hmm. our store is at a number where it probably won't vary very much one way or the other because we're at $2,200 a copy, generally speaking. But our biggest opportunity is fixed operations. So that's what I'm focused on most right now is improving my fixed coverage. And we've gone from 6 years ago, we couldn't crack 190,000 in our fixed operations parts and service combined, and now we're routinely around 500,000.
Wow. So ballpark around what's the annual of a dealership that size? The gross.
Any single point standalone, with very small exception. We're in the top 1%. I mean, our ROI, return on investment, is amongst the top 1, 2, or 3 in the country. So my main concern is making sure that all of my expense lines on a percentage of gross profit are responsibly adjusted if they need be. If they fall in line, it's a matter of how many transactions that I do. If I can't increase the transactions because there's a capacity issue for inventory on new, let's say, for example, well, then the next thing I have to look at is are there any other income drivers that I'm not maxed out on or near maxed out on? And then I have to look at my business model and say, okay, if I have maxed everything out, I have to do one of two things. I have to increase the physical capacity of the store, allow more business, or I have to trim expense if I'm not at a 3 to 4%, return on sales. So what I opted to do is we're probably, if there's 4 laps around the track to a mile, I'm already 1.5 laps into putting an addition on the building for service and adding 4 more service bays.
Gotcha.
Because I can increase my gross profit by 100,000 a month, and my net by probably 40,000 a month.
With the additional service.
That's post expense too, yeah.
Wow. So if you had your way, what would be the 12-month goal of the dealership? Where would you want to go from today, 12 months from now?
In terms of net profit?
Yeah, that works.
I mean, I think right now, even with all we have to deal with, if we're pre-tax $5 million, that's a very strong number for a standalone Cadillac store. That's where I'd want to be. I mean,
12 months. Like where you are, what percentage growth would that be? Like 10% growth or 20% in the next 12 months?
Been well north over the last 6 years. We've been well north of that 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
I'm talking about, what we're dealing with in terms of, the termination of 3 gas models that represented 30% of our volume every month with Cadillac. So really what I'm trying to do is.
So those 3 models are like the bread and butter.
Well, they're half of the bread and butter. The Escalade, the CT5, and the XT5 are what we have remaining in gas engine vehicles. We had the XT4, the XT6, and the CT4. Those 3 vehicles combined were 30% of our volume.
Wow. And the rest is spread out through all the rest of the models.
Yeah. So you get the 30% of your volume and try to replace it with 4 EVs that represent 5% of your volume. That's a tough go.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And the margins are very slim on the EVs because of the whole tax credit, dynamic and dealers having inventories that they don't want to have and trying to sell the cars for cheap.
Now, a question for you. So, with that being said, aren't they kind of like married to you as far as service goes? If they buy the electric ones, other people do the electric work?
Whatever you want.
Really? I thought that would be harder to find somebody who do electrical work on the Cadillac. Like
you have to compete for that business.
So there's a lot of dealers, a lot of like independent garages that do the electric.
No, or I have one of the largest geographical trading areas, designated trading areas for General Motors because of our location. Basically the whole northeast corner of New Jersey. I should say central east, like out to Seagirt and the Atlantic Highlands, and then down 20 miles south of here. We have and 20 miles west. We have a
big footprint.
Big, the way to put it. Yeah. But also because of our name recognition, people will come from outside the area to buy cars from us. So the way we've handled that is we have an 80-car loaner fleet, and we have 6 concierges. These are guys that pick you up and drop you off for service. So we've expanded our ability to take in more traffic in our area and outside of our area by having access to transportation that a lot of other dealerships in the north. We have the largest loaner fleet by twice of any
Wow.
dealership in the east. And it's an investment, but it's an investment that's paid long term to where we are. Between that and Numa, those two areas have enabled our capacity to grow. Now we're at a point where we have a car behind a car in every service bay all day, and we're open 6 days a week.
Wow.
Have nowhere to go other than expand the footprint.
I see. And then the 3 to 5 year goal. we got 12 months out of the way. What's the 3 to 5 year perfect scenario in your mind?
Perfect scenario. I think perfect scenario. Let's say, 150 new and used per month.
Because we're at now. It's a 150 new and used in 3 to 5 years. What are you at now a month?
A bad month is 100. A good month's 130.
Okay, maybe. So 150 across the board would be nice.
Benchmark, and then $600,000 or north in fixed operations, and then the organization we make north of $7 million. And that's that makes a good well-run Cadillac store will sell for 3.75 to 4.5 times your earnings.
Okay.
This would get a pretty
big
penny.
Sale. Yeah, big sale. Yeah.
But no reason to sell when you're making that kind of money. No reason to sell.
Right now the Numa, can that add the sales into it, or is that something they don't do yet?
Yeah, it's completely portable. It's software. Yeah. So Numa was founded by a fellow by the name of Tasso Ramalatis. He was actually the founder of the software used in Life 360.
Okay.
You're familiar with it, I'm sure. If you have family or whatever, everybody's on it. Everybody is. And he sold that software for many millions of dollars.
Right.
Him and Joel Grossman were execs at Google, engineers, software, code writers, and so on. They left and they went on to a partnership to create their own software companies and software platforms, and they've been very successful creating solutions, and they either going public or selling them. Now, the way that relationship came about is the interesting part. During COVID, we went on lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in the dark, saying, "Oh, now I'm the operating partner at Gold Coast Cadillac." 3 weeks after I took over, we had to shut the doors and turn the lights out. It was not a good reality.
No.
So I'm like, what the hell did I do?
What have I done?
So I started holding a chat group on Facebook on Sunday mornings between 10 and 11:30. And the chat group was essentially any business people in any businesses, just to keep everybody's minds fresh. And I had people from Canada, from Vancouver, from Montreal, from Vancouver.
Just throwing ideas out there, how to keep things going.
There's new software platforms. It wasn't necessarily automotive related. Some of that came up, but it was also some best practice from a strategical standpoint. I chaired the meetings, of course, and any given Saturday we had 50 plus people and 75 members every morning, right? So, but a friend of mine who's kind of been in that work for quite a long time as a bit of an influencer and a promoter said to me, "Listen, these two guys, they have a great concept." And I would do a 20-minute segment on each one of these meetings where you'd have the new best idea, or somebody can show their software idea, whatever. Right. And you guys come on, and they're talking about the concept. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that if they can actualize this, I can see this working. Mm-hmm. So I asked them if we could sidebar after the meeting, and we did. And they told me what they're thinking about doing. And then I said, "Well, when are you gonna have your first prototype?" And they said, "Well, 2 months, 3 months, whatever." Yeah. I said, "Why don't we beta test it at my store? It's COVID, it's anything.
Slow. Yeah, give it a shot.
All bets are off right now.
How bad can it be?"
Exactly. We plugged it in. We worked out some kinks, and now now it's a product that's not just a finished product, but now they're adding the bolt-on functions and kind of transcending other departments in the dealership. We're working on that now, but it's in 1,400 dealerships. The company's worth $400 or $500 million now.
That's huge. Yeah.
Very well. It doesn't take a brainiac. If you figure, even use a round number, $2,000 or $2,500 a month, and you multiply that times 1,400 dealerships.
Oh yeah. So it costs you $2,500 a month to have it run the service department, or currently that's around the.
That really depends on the size of your store, how many users, and
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Like anything, like Salesforce, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
More users, the price goes up.
Exactly. Any CRMs, but the key with this is, once you realize how it works, the first question you have to ask yourself is, how much is one additional customer worth to me?
I see.
So we know that the revenue that an average person spends is somewhere around $5,000 or $6,000 over a 5 year over the ownership of a vehicle, right? Over the life.
For the service part, 5 or 6 grand.
Yeah.
So one customer is worth X amount. What would it be for you? What's one customer worth?
Well, I'm just going to use that number because
Use that number.
Some people spend 10 grand, they get the transmission redone. Some people spend $1,000 just doing oil changes and whatever else, tire rotations. Right. But the average is about 5,000. Now, my point is, it doesn't stop there, because after the life cycle of the vehicle, they buy another car. 70% of all customers that service their car with you give you an opportunity at least to sell them another one.
That makes sense. That's the average, huh? 70%. That makes sense.
Average on a repeat customer is a 40% close ratio. So 3 out of every 10 customers who service their car with you will probably buy another one from you, and that'll just keep happening, because now they tell 2 friends, and
like 4 or 5 cars down the road, they're still they're selling to their grandkids.
Probably added 50 people to your customer base. So that's and anybody who's been a dealer for any length of time understands that. So is that worth $2,000 to you a month?
I think it would be. Yeah, absolutely.
So now, do you think it's only going to be? Now the next question is, do you think it's only going to be one customer?
Right. Probably not.
And communicate with me 24/7, where my advisors don't do that right now.
Right. It's impossible.
Right. And communicate with my portal with a transcribed conversation. They can make regular maintenance appointments through the portal itself without even talking to somebody. And if there's a problem, drivability problem, or an emergency, it flags it on the screen that the advisor is looking at. So even if they're on the phone with somebody else, or they're selling a customer in front of them, you're watching this go on real time. How many more customers do you think that will get you?
Sure.
And then once your customers have called into the portal more than once, they become very comfortable with it, because they realize they don't have to wait for somebody to answer the phone now. So the customer base.
So they're talking to the AI agent on the call.
Yeah.
So they call up. So it sounds like us talking.
Yeah.
And they tell them their problem with the car, right? Basically. Mm-hmm. And it tells them, responds to them what they should do, or what they
do. That they require a loaner car. They need pick up and delivery. They need
all that stuff's taken out of the way.
All of the nickel and dime. I don't mean it's nickel and dime. I'm just saying, just to use a phrase, right? You're a New Yorker. All the nickel and dime stuff is picked up at the very beginning. If it's more complicated than that, it's
like technical stuff. Like actually know like right. My transmission's grinding or whatever.
You would have someone to wait, but the advisor will see that on their cell phone, or going across the screen at their desk. They'll see it at home on their cell phone.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they.
So is it assigned per person? Like say if I'm calling the dealership, right? Does it go to one particular person, or goes everybody sees it?
Well, let's first back up.
Okay.
So customers that are already customers of ours already know who their advisor is, and it's IP specific, so it will go directly to that person's desk.
So that AI agent is talking to my advisor. They're Correct. Seeing it real time,
100%.
And they can jump in. I got it. If it's a random person, it goes to what, like
it goes to a service BDC, to that extension, which also has an IP address, has 2 of them, which are served up by a round robin on the phone, and they communicate there. and that's seen by the two BDC people. So anything that's not gotten to late at night, but now people on holidays, on Christmas, on Easter, on Hanukkah, on
They're calling.
yeah, well, call in and they realize, hey, I can communicate this problem now. I can put a bookmark in for myself. When the BDC ladies come in the next morning, they have an actual, summary of all the people that called in on Numa, what the issues are, whether they need a loan a car or not, and it's their work plan is already made for the next day.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's great. Yeah, that's
very
great.
powerful. And anybody, like I said, anybody who's been a dealer for a long time that understands fixed operations, you know damn well you're going to pick up a lot of people doing that. Because the average advisor, if they have a customer in front of them, they'll turn the volume down on their phone so they don't have to listen to it while they're talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
When in this case, they can't neglect the customer. The customer's communicating on their screen right in front of them.
Right. Big difference.
Yeah, and not only that, when you get back, let's say you're the advisor and the conversation it stops with the customer on the phone. Because it's transcribed, you can jump into the conversation where it ended. You don't have to go all the way back to the beginning and say, hey, this is Bill. Why'd you call? What's going on? And the customer's got to start all over again. That in itself keeps the customers anchored and not calling and shopping to other dealerships. Now, if we're really good at getting back to the customer,
mm-hmm.
they trust the system. If they trust the system, they'll use the system. If they use the system, our volume of customers will grow.
I see. So your goal would be to try to get the people to trust the system that you have. That as long as they're trusting the talking to the AI agent that goes to your service guy.
We don't have we don't have voicemail, so our goal is to answer every phone call live.
Oh, no voicemails. That's great.
Yeah. Well, my philosophy is if I can get a live person on a phone and we're engaging on the phone, nothing's better than that.
Right.
But my thrust with AI is not to have AI replace my employees.
Right.
It's to have AI enhance
right.
of the employees.
Right.
And if you look at it that way, the way you implement it will complement your employees' capacity. It'll increase their own employee satisfaction because their checks will grow. It's easy to handle more customers. They don't have to write shit anymore. Everything gets better.
Right.
By the utilization at that level.
Makes sense. Now, is there anything else you think of that you want to use AI for that's not hooked up to that software in the business that would be able to help you? And you get so it's like we have
until it hits our router. We use Vin solutions to punch in and punch out.
So that's like they have to go physically and do it, right? It's not like
they have to physically do it, yeah.
Like they have a card or whatever, like a kind of a pass kind of thing, like a electric card that tells them who they are.
They put in their password and punch in.
I sure do, right?
Right.
Oh
yeah. No, I have 100 things like that I could tell you that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Things along those lines.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have AI have like the Apple tags that you use for your luggage.
Yeah.
Air tags. Put one of those on every dealer plate, and at the speed of light. But I think still at the end of the day, the one thing about AI that most people don't know is they think it's going to replace everybody and everything. It can't, and here's why. AI can't think forward.
Right.
AI is only a result of everything it's been given prior, right? It has to constantly improve its logic to make the best decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it has constant human data being fed to it,
it would be out of date very quickly.
Becomes obsolete eventually. And processing speeds. That's why they're building all these big data, these big processing that require so much electricity. Right. So, but at the end of the day, what's it going to come down to? Well, just like we thought of, hey, listen, it's a great way to have people punch in and punch out for accuracy purposes. Right? It can be used for so many other things. that don't necessarily replace the same people would have to punch in and punch out anyway, right?
Right.
But you know, if if they allow if they allow it now, you got to be careful because you don't want to be big brother to the point people get scared and they
True.
tell people, well, don't go work for that guy. He knows your every move.
He knows everything.
Every, um, but there are some applications that can be secured that do work. I mean, even just the analysis of you know.
You don't compile that now, right? You don't have that data.
So I'm going to tell you what it's going to say when we're done. It's going to say that guy is a danger to society. Don't let him loose.
Red flag.
Yeah, exactly. Warning, Justice Red no,
but like that. That's what you meant. Like if I'm talking, you're the customer. We're talking together, right? We're recording this. I have some kind of like recording device on my lapel or something, and we're talking, and everything's going into there. And then we get done, and tells us what we talked about to the customer.
Right. Exactly. It tells us, even everything right up to your intonation, your cadence, everything.
And it would build like a.
Doug, you can go on. Listen, you know where my head is headed with this stuff, right?
Right.
Our mind's eye can see this clearly. I have access to people that can actually do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you may as well.
Right.
The reality of it is, I think if it wasn't a matter of money and a matter of building it out and finding investors to build it out, I can help an AI company build out something that would make them. Yeah, look, we can build the perfect solution that generates the perfect information. It's still down to the user of that information when it's all done, right? You know that.
That's it, right?
Who's sitting here in this seat, right?
That's all matters, right?
It's all it comes down to because we can provide every bit of what we're talking about, but unless the person sitting here has that same mind's eye and says, "Hey, if I had all this information, I can make really good decisions."
Right. Without that person, the data is useless.
Yeah, then it's just, I got to turn this fucking computer on again.
It's just wasted. Right.
Yeah.
It goes nowhere.
Because it's very level, almost to some people a scary level.
Right.
Because you can drill that down that far into behavior. But really, at the end of the day, the thing that makes AI so powerful is its ability to analyze behaviors. That to me is the most dynamic aspect of it. Anybody can report the news, right?
Right.
Anybody. Recognizing behavioral patterns.
And all very fast too. Getting it all
almost
fast. Right.
Data's been instantaneous, right? Predictable behaviors, intuitively predictable behaviors is the key.
Right.
Because once you have enough data, you can start intuitively predicting the behavior of the person sitting across the desk from you. That is the 600-pound gorilla.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because here's the biggest problem. Guys like you are out there that are super smart, that know code writers and guys that write algorithms, that write solutions, right? Mm-hmm. Problem with those guys is the language they speak and the English they think is different from the language and the English that the end user uses and thinks.
Oh, it does. I have a coder on staff.
Yeah.
We talk two different languages. I'm starting to understand him a little more, but he could not relate this to any known person. Like how he thinks.
What I do is I work with these companies. I'm what we might call the man in the middle. So I try to understand both sides at a level where we can dumb down the functionality without compromising the intellectual property, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
How do I make a Toys R Us version of this do the same thing where the person that's utilizing the software can think in simple terms, but accomplish the high flying act that
that's a difficult thing, right? Because even the prompts are difficult. If you don't get the prompts right, the AI gives you the wrong answer. You think it's stupid. It's your fault for giving the wrong prompt. The prompt has to be exactly what you want. It's not like Google. You can't like tell me about dogs or tell me about this. It doesn't work that way. You have to have AI works different than Google. You have to actually have the correct prompt to get the right answer. And then you think, oh, this is bullshit. This work, but it's not true. You didn't ask right.
It's all about it's all about the data inflow and the data access points. It all comes down to that. But that's why I think the best utilization of AI will come down to voice recognition and voice command, meaning the end user doesn't have to think about keystrokes, right? They think about conversation. You know, I don't know if you're old enough. Do you remember the movie 2001: Space Odyssey?
Yes.
So when they wanted Hal to open up the shuttle door, and Hal says, "I'm sorry, I cannot do that." He knew it was over, right? As soon as Hal could think for himself, he knew it was over right there.
Right.
That movie was made a long time ago.
Very long.
Probably 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everybody's assumption is that's where it's going to head eventually. It's not going to, unless you create something that has a tilt mechanism where it says, when you get to this point and the rationale and the thinking is over, go into attack mode and there's no shutdown. Nobody can shut you off.
Right.
My point is this.
Then you have like Terminator 2.
Yeah, well, that's what the fear that's what the fear of the voice command is, right? That's why they made the big deal about the celebrities, the AI generated, version of Mariah Carey's voice or Jimmy Carey. Right. That's what the
IP stuff. Well, there's a problem. Everybody's trying to like lock up their IP so they can't steal it.
Right. That's what the intellectual property lawsuit was all about.
Right.
So my point is, let's say, for example, you hire an employee in, and you have an AI. The AI does the training with them. Let's say, for example, in conversation form.
Mm-hmm.
AI can listen to their conversations and tell them where they went off and what they quoted the customer incorrectly, what they didn't know about the car, what they should have said about the vehicle. All of this stuff, we know it can be accomplished. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and the average person can't remember all that. It won't be able to regurgitate it all. If you did the interview, you can't. Some people could, but
1,000%. So that's where I'm not the guy who raises the money from the investors.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly I can do the thinking. Certainly I can do, I can create the vision. I can tell you, here's how it's going to work and why. Here's the behavior of the end user and how they're going to receive this.
Mm-hmm.
Convenience to end users, simplicity to end users is job one, right? Because they don't want to fucking work to begin with.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But anything you can do to make work seem like not work, and have it accomplish the work, is a win.
Right.
That's where we want to, and that will always be. That's why these people choose those jobs.
Right.
Their character traits tell them anything other than this, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to get immediate gratification. Don't do it.
And their brain shuts down, and that's it.
100%. Now, for a guy who code and algorithms, ask him to explain to 5 guys that dig ditches how his software works, and no one will understand a word he's saying.
None.
Exactly. Yeah. So my position in all of this is, and what I try to keep my lane is, if I understand how the software works, I can help develop the simplicities without losing the intellectual property. And then what I usually do after that is I help the company promote their products. That's what I do that with 4 different companies right now. 2 of which I'm stockholders in, and 1 I've made a cash investment in. And listen, I enjoy it because I'm 64 years old. I don't want to be a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I keep from being a dinosaur.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to our call?
I gave you a lot right there. I might.
You did.
I have to retire after you steal all my.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks for the time, man. I really
appreciate
Bill.
Take care. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.